Woo! The Golden Stallion is here for you. Got a little something. This isn't going to be a long episode. This is just an important announcement. In fact, hell, I might even title this little bit of Patreon content that. And I suppose I could have done it in a text format, and maybe I still will. Because on Patreon you can share all kinds of content. It doesn't just have to be podcasts or audio or something. You could share videos, you could share posts. All kinds of things. Eventually, someday, maybe I'll make more use of that. But anyway. Yeah, something I wanted to tell you about, and I want to talk about it because I think some people might feel, and I completely understand why, and it took me a while to really get it right in my own head to want to do this. Some people might feel I'm being I wouldn't say a hypocrite, but maybe contradictory after a sort, or whatever. And so I kind of want to break this down. I am starting, and all right. First, let's start off this way. I have a new website. It is my new primary website, ZomiaOfflineGames.com. It's still there, but that's not the new website. But that, eventually that'll go the way of the dodo. And all of the pertinent and important content that's on ZomiaOfflineGames.com, will eventually transfer elsewhere. So I have a new website, and the website is called the URL is zog.email, not zog.ninja. Now, when you type in zog.ninja, and again, it's zog stands for Zomia Offline Games. When you type in zog.ninja, it's just going to take you to zog.email. And the reason for building the site, I'd been working on a new site for a while, and I've had a bunch of just kind of crazy, and I mean that in a good way, crazy ideas that I want to get out there. Some of which I've had to back burner for varying reasons. Some of which I may get to in the future. But when I created ZomiaOfflineGames.com, the website really. I needed a website that could kind of do everything. This is my thinking, and there's a reason that I named this new site zog.email. We'll get into that in a second, and that's where maybe people will think I might be being a little contradictory. But with ZomiaOfflineGames.com, I needed a website that could host everything. It needed to be able to host my podcast. It needed to be able to host my blog. It needed to be able to all the kind of the crazy ideas that I had, and some of which I'm still going to do, like the Anarchy Mud. It needed to be able to it needed to be a store. Because at the time there weren't a lot of venues to where you could buy things with Bitcoin. Of course, now the way Bitcoin transaction fees are going, I don't know exactly if you want to be buying a bunch of stuff with Bitcoin, but like my VPN. So I pay for my VPN with Bitcoin. It's like $6-7 a month. It's not a big deal. But to pay for it with Bitcoin now, it actually costs like $12-13 to pay for the VPN because of the transaction fee. Which, yeah, when you're paying double the price for something, it's a small amount. I'm not really complaining that much. But I'm saying when you are paying double the price for something, well, I guess maybe that's the anonymity fee or the pseudonymity fee, as far as that goes. So anyway, I needed a place where I could accept Bitcoin to pay for my wares, and now that's no longer necessary. I needed a home for my blog, which I didn't want to at the time. Especially when I first started, Medium wasn't letting just anybody publish on their site. Now they let anybody publish on there. Patreon wasn't really a thing. There were so many things. I had to really create my own corner of the internet. Now with my new website, I've still kind of done that in a way, but and I think it's important for people. I still kind of think it's important for people to have websites. I know a lot of people crack the joke that, millennials don't need their own websites and all this shit. No, I still think it's important to kind of have your, carve out your own little chunk. But really, I needed a website that could do everything. And when I started to make a new website, I had the same idea in mind of making a website that could just handle and do everything. And I'm not throwing away all of that work. I'm still holding on to it. It's just the new website originally that I was planning was a lot of work. Let's just put it that way. It's going, and it ended up doing a lot. But the thing is right now I don't feel that need for a website that can kind of do everything now. Now there's, my games are hosted on itch.io. My music is hosted on Bandcamp. My podcast has always been hosted on SoundCloud. In fact, when I first started Sovereign Tech, SoundCloud was my website. Like I bought into the idea that no, you don't really need a website, and SoundCloud can kind of do everything. Sort of went back to that kind of way of thinking for a little while, where I had the Patreon page, be the main website. In fact, when you type in sovereigntech.com, it still takes you to the Patreon page. But there's more that I want to do, and there's another kind of bit of there's actually the notion of getting past the World Wide Web that I want to explore more, and so that's ironically the purpose of the new website that I made at zog.email. So the big website, I've kind of put that on the back burner. I want to look into using a lot of alternatives, perhaps in the future decentralized alternatives. But until those come into fruition, at least for right now, I think I want to take advantage of the aspects of the internet that that aren't the World Wide Web. We've talked about this on Sovereign Tech many times. The internet is not websites. It's not Facebook. It's not like the internet is actually a bunch of different technologies. The internet is SMTP. The internet is Usenet. The internet is IRC. The internet is the World Wide Web, which is what most people, when they use the word internet, they use it interchangeably with the term World Wide Web, but they're actually not the same thing. Like the internet is a bunch of different, is effectively, different protocols, all running on the same, infrastructure. So zog.email is a website, again, and by design, it's very basic because I want it to be able to load very fast all around the world. Okay, I did not want a bunch of crazy features on it because all I really want it to do, well, two things that it can do. One is that I am starting a Sovereign Tech newsletter. Okay, and this is where people might think I'm being contradictory because I've constantly complained about people that collect emails and then they go off and they sell those emails to advertising companies. Like if they get 20,000, 30,000 emails in their email list, they go and they sell all that off to advertisers or whatever. I mean, and it can be a very lucrative business for people. Or like I get pissed off about kind of lead generators where like, oh yeah, you'll get this free book if you just sign up for my newsletter, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not doing any of that. Like none of those aspects of what I can consider bullshit about newsletters and email marketing and all that. I'm not doing anything remotely like that. I am not offering you a free book to sign up. I'm not doing any kind of hook for you to join my newsletter. I am not going to give your email address to anybody. Okay, but I am collecting an email list. I am making a newsletter, and part of the reason for this. Okay, so first off is that I think a newsletter would be a great way to disseminate a lot of the things that I find on the internet over time. As far as how often the newsletter is going to be, I'm probably going to start off bi-weekly. Okay, you can sign up for it right now. You can go to zog.email. You can sign up for the newsletter. I've already had a bunch of people sign up for it. I'm really honored. But there's lots of things that I want to talk about more that I want to get out there that may not fit very well necessarily in a podcast form. And so I an email newsletter is great for that. The other thing is that for me, it's a more guaranteed way, a more direct way, really, to connect with you. And what I mean by that is, say a website goes down, say something, and I don't want to rely on third parties like Facebook or Twitter or something like that. I mean, say accounts get shut down, say just something not necessarily, I mean something terrible, but not necessarily like maliciously terrible or whatever. I'm not worst case scenarioing everything, but really email is kind of that guaranteed way everybody around the world can pretty much receive an email. And so right now, it's just the best way to be able to stay in contact with everybody, to send out something in a mass form right away. Not everybody follows me on Twitter. Not everybody follows me on other social media. It's all kind of all over the place. So if there's one area that everybody pretty much agrees that they have an account, I mean, pretty much everybody has an email account. So it's sort of the guaranteed way for me to get in touch with you. But I want to do that in a way that's beneficial to you, to where you can, you're going to find out about, I'll give you a little post, great stories, maybe even, products that I'm using, and I would only ever, show you stuff that I'd actually, be jumping on, that I find interesting that you could check out. I mean, just, it's Sovereign Tech in a newsletter form. That's really what it's going to be. I mean, and I'll toss in, Dark Android and stuff from Zomia Offline Games or whatever else into there too, of course. But the main idea is that this is just kind of the guaranteed, almost foolproof way to be able to get in touch with people, and so that's why I'm doing it. And the newsletter is going to do all kinds of stuff, and maybe I'll make, like, I don't know, I'll do special offers or something, through it, because yeah, I am writing books right now, and those are going to come out, and maybe you'll get coupon deals through the Sovereign Tech newsletter or whatever. But that's kind of an afterthought. The main thing is just I want to be able to really reach, to have that guaranteed reach to Sovereign Tech listeners. Get that out there, and be able to share stuff, again, that a podcast just, it doesn't work for, and that you don't have to be, wade through all the bullshit on social media just to see what I'm sharing. So it's going to be, this is going to be pretty, I mean, it's not going to be personal as in, like, I'm going to do TMI, give you too much information or something, but this could be, this is a very personal medium. Just as podcasting is a personal medium, but podcasting doesn't allow you to share, it's not the most efficient way to share everything. So I want to do a newsletter. I think, I mean, there's definitely a lot of research out there right now that talks about how newsletters are really, like, email newsletters are, and like even people who's like Jason Calacanis, a lot of these other guys that are they're creating entire news organizations that are just based around reach, no website, they just reach people effectively through email. Like that's how they get in touch with everybody. And I mean, the rates, the open rates, and the rates at which through which people actually, like, look at the email and everything are through the roof. And so I'm impressed by that. I look at these metrics and everything and I go, holy shit, well, this is an avenue that I want to be able to connect with my audience with. And so that's why I'm doing it. But again, I'm not doing any of the bullshit. All right, there's no, sign up for my, just, I'll give you this free book if you, and then I'm, like, leading you into some kind of subscription service or something, like a lot of scammers do in the Liberty Movement. No, I'm not doing that at all. I mean, it's just straight up, I want to share great content with you, either my own content or content that I find amazing, online. I mean, one of the inspirations for this was Kevin Rose. He does the journal. That's at thejournal.email, and I mean, and I love what he's doing with that, and so I want to do it too, And also, yeah, I mean, am I going to show you things that maybe I produced, and I'll give you, like, an announcement that it's come out and all that? And, well, of course I will. But then, plenty of people are hankering and dying for me to talk about on my podcast anyway, so I might as well talk about it in the email as well. But also, most importantly, like, I am not sharing your email addresses with fucking anybody. I'm not interested in that sort of thing. That's not why I'm doing this. This is really just about connecting more, more readily and in a more surefire way with, the Sovereign Tech audience. This is all about. So I made a new website that allows for that. Also on the website, it has the Kiwi plugin, which I used to have, where it was irc.zog.ninja. That would take you to where you could just, like, on a website, you could access the IRC channel, which is hashtag Sovnet. That's SOVNET on Freenode. That's my IRC channel. So that's another again, IRC isn't the World Wide Web. Okay, IRC is a separate aspect of the internet, and so that's just another avenue where, and I don't know how much I'm going to get into Usenet, because I've asked people, like, if they're interested in that sort of thing. I'd love to set up a Usenet group for Sovereign Tech, but people just don't seem to have the interest. And nowadays, you don't just get Usenet for free with your, with your ISP, as to where back in the 90s, you used to. Now you have to pay, a pretty fair amount for that. I don't think people are going to jump on board with it. But anyway, one of my goals here is to have a hub where people can just see and get access to the links and whatever else to see what what other technologies besides the internet, besides the World Wide Web, that you can connect with, me and Sovereign Tech and all of that. So this is a place for you to get in touch with me via email, or sign up for the Sovereign Tech newsletter so we can connect via email, and then also IRC. So ironically, this is a website that's trying to get you off of the World Wide Web. Okay, that's the whole point. And I mean, in the Sovereign Tech newsletter, of course, depending upon the frequency within which I release it, there will be links to to listen to the episodes of Sovereign Tech that have been released since, say, the last email newsletter went out. I mean, that's going to be there. I mean, the idea is that if you're, especially like if you're running Thunderbird or something, you don't have to open your web browser, and you can interact with whatever's going on for me, or you can connect. So I mean, email's sort of a one-way street, or a newsletter anyway is sort of a one-way street, I should say. But anyway, I think this is going to be. I already have quite a few newsletters planned. I'm really excited to do this. I think it's going to be really cool. Already had a lot of people sign up. You can sign up. All you got to do is just go to zog.email, and you'll get the hookup right there. I mean, the other things I had to do, as far as the website goes, the contact form for emailing the show, for emailing Sovereign Tech. That's now on zog.email. There's a Contact Us tab at the top. I mean, I made the site look about as 90s as I could, okay? And that's by design. That's how I like it. But there's a Contact Us tab, and you can click on that. Or you can just go to contact.zog.ninja, which has been the URL forever. And not even just zog.email, but zog.ninja. It'll take you to that. But there'll be a contact form there where, again, you can be anonymous. You don't have to give me your name or email address if you don't want to. The donate page, that is also there, where you can donate in Bitcoin, Zcash, a whole slew of ways that you can donate to Sovereign Tech on that. So that's there. Then there's a little about me, and then there's the RSS feed is there. All my social media links are on the site. My sponsors are also all on the right-hand side of the site. That was important. My warrant canary is there. Yes, don't worry, there is a warrant canary on the new site. And there's a link directly for Patreon, of course, there. So it's very, very basic. If you look under, when you go to the site, if you look under, I mean, right at the top is the, sign up for my email. Okay, and I could have done it where it's a pop-up that gets in your face and says, "Hey, sign up for my newsletter." I didn't do that. I just put the newsletter right at the top, and underneath that, you'll see there's a link it'll say Sovereign Tech Podcast, which that'll take you right to the SoundCloud page. Then there's a link for Dark Android, which there's a Dark Android book coming out that'll link to that once that's ready. Then there's Audio of the Ancients, which will take you right to the Bandcamp page, and then there's Zomia Offline Games. All those are right underneath the sign up, the little the little subscription field, little text field, so you can subscribe to the newsletter. And then there's Zomia Offline Games, which of course takes you to the itch.io page for Zomia Offline Games. Underneath that is a little SoundCloud plugin that has all the episodes of Sovereign Tech on it. And then underneath that, like I said, is the Kiwi plugin that allows you to connect to the Sovereign Tech IRC channel. So very basic. In fact, on mobile, like part of the way that I set this up is so that on mobile, it will show up where it'll just say, this is zog.email, and it'll say sign up for the Sovereign Tech newsletter. Okay, the text field's right at the top, and then underneath it are just those few links to be able to get everywhere else you need to go, like the Sovereign Tech, like going to the podcast for Sovereign Tech, going to Dark Android, Audio of the Ancients, or Zomia Offline Games. So again, it's a website. The website doesn't, I don't need, right now, I don't need a website that does everything. I don't need a website that replaces everything that you do on the internet, which was originally, with ZomiaOfflineGames.com, that's originally what that website was no, I'll host everything here. Everything's going to be here, and it's going to be your one-stop shop for all that stuff. But, honestly, I mean, part of the reason that I sort of walked away from that idea was, people weren't really using it in that way. I got plenty of visitors. I mean, I get hundreds, if not thousands, of visitors per day to it. It wasn't that, and people still read the stories that are there, from the Zog blog or the Dark Android blog or whatever. It's not like people still don't connect with all that. They do, but it wasn't reaching the numbers that I wanted. The content from it wasn't getting really shared elsewhere. Not that that needs to be a thing. So, but it wasn't achieving the goals that I wanted. So when something, you don't just stick with it. you know what I mean. There's a time where you change strategy, and so strategy changes now. But anyway, so that's the new website. You can go there. If you want to be able to donate, like I said, in Zcash or Bitcoin or anything, or PayPal or the Amazon wish list, which, boy, exciting news about that. One of my listeners, bought the mixer that I needed off of my Amazon wish list. You can just type in wishlist.zog.ninja, or you can go to zog.email and you'll see it. You see it on the donate page for the link to the Amazon wish list. But holy hell, oh man, things are about to start taking place. Let me tell you that. Shit's going to get crazy because now, I can start building Studio 2 to where it'll be functional. Um, it'll be totally functional, and then I can start making content from Studio 2. So that's going to open up a lot more time because I don't have to share the studio with Stephanie, and also it'll help with the quality. Like right now, you're listening to me. I'm on my my cloud, my Kingston HyperX 2 or my HyperX Cloud 2 headset right now. As to where when I have Studio 2, as long as I'm not on location, I can I can rock out the studio, with the professional mic and the mixer and the whole thing, and all kinds of wild shit's going to be happening with that. So it's a very exciting time. Bottom line, it's an incredibly exciting time for Sovereign Tech. A lot of cool things happening. I'm very excited about the Sovereign Tech newsletter. The first one will be going out probably within the next couple weeks. So if you want to sign up now, and then these newsletters will start coming out, just because I want to give time for everybody really to sign up for it before I start putting them out. After about a month, what I'll do is, I don't know if I'll put them on the website or if I'll just put them on Medium. Actually, what Kevin Rose does with the journal, he puts them on Medium. He has a monthly email newsletter that goes out, and he will post the previous month's email, like on Medium. Okay, after the fact, I might end up doing something like that, so that way if people have missed past newsletters, because I want the newsletters to be evergreen. I don't want them to be current events. I want them to be something that is really helpful and you can kind of go forward with. We'll see based on time frame if I do any kind of like releasing of effectively back issues of the Sovereign Tech newsletter. But I think this is going to be really cool. I remember in the 90s, like I loved email newsletters. Some of them were really well done. I remember some Star Wars ones and some science fiction ones that I thought were so cool. And now I get to do my own, where I'm pushing out, and you better believe there's going to be some science fiction. There's going to be all kinds of wild shit. It's going to be like issues of Omni magazine. I mean, that's pretty much my plan for what the Sovereign Tech newsletter is going to be like. So very excited. If you haven't signed up yet, just go to zog.email and you can sign up there. I mean, you can't miss it. The text field to put in the email, it's right at the fucking top of the page. Like, I mean, I made sure of it. It's just this black page, and boom, there's this white text field bar. Put in your email address. Okay, so not hard. So go ahead and rock that out. After you do sign up, it does take you to the Patreon page, just in case somebody that signs up doesn't wants to become a patron as well. They can do that, but you'll have to confirm it and everything, and yeah, and then you're done. Once you confirm your email, you're all set. So I hope to see more of you. Already quite a few of you have signed up for the email, and I will be announcing it on Sovereign Tech proper, on Sovereign Tech, on a Prime episode this coming week. I will make the announcement about it there. I've already announced it on social media, and that's how people have already jumped on it so far. But I will announce it on the podcast as well this week, and just really excited. So, and again, the website meant to be very basic, but it's got the features that are needed, and and it has the sponsors, and it has all the little things that you need on the internet that maybe a lot of like these more social sites or even something like Patreon can't exactly offer, at least not in an efficient way. So yeah, I put it there. So zog.email, that's the new website. You're going to hear me mention zog.email a lot, on the show from now on, just to get people on board with it. Also, again, it's where people can donate. It's where people can contact me, anonymously or more anonymously if they want to, because you don't have to give me your name or your email address to use the contact form on the page. And it's, it'll be the easiest way to find all of my social media links, and all the sponsors, and you can connect on IRC and listen to the show, and do all kinds of cool things on there. So anyway, that's it. That's all I wanted to announce, is just that, yeah, I'm really excited about this. Getting people, I mean, this is really going to be a vanguard site for getting people away from the World Wide Web, and starting to think about using other technologies more, and maybe getting them prepped for what I really think is going to be our, peer-to-peer decentralized distributed future. I think that's the way things are going to go. I didn't get to a story this week on episode 229. I didn't get to a story on episode 229 of Sovereign Tech that I'd mentioned on Patreon last week that I would get to, which was that the Guardian talked about how crypto anarchism has won and has taken over. Yeah, that's a really exciting thing. Hopefully I will get to it in episode 230 of Sovereign Tech, but we'll get to that, and I think you'll see the point of why, kind of getting away from a lot of the World Wide Web will be such a great thing. I mean, again, it's awesome, with the email and IRC and whatever else. Like, I don't have to connect with you on Facebook. Like, we don't have to we don't have to use Facebook. I can just, the great, or what people tell me is great content that I put out, I can get right to you, right in your email box and the inbox, and that's the beauty here. So anyway, there we have it. That's it for now. Got other content coming out on Patreon this week. Sex and Science Hour did get delayed by a week, but as far as I know, again, I don't have 100% control of that. As far as I know, that will be rocked out this Friday. So apologies for that. And of course, an all new Sovereign Tech episode 230 will be coming out this week as well. So anyway, I will see you on the other side.